What's up, Craig?
We
Hell
love
yeah.
Craig.
Hell yeah. What's up, critters? Welcome back to the number one show ever in the universe.
Ever.
Ever. This is going to be a very special episode. It was supposed to be a very special episode because we were
Yeah.
going to have both David and Graham here. It was going to be a Critterpit, Mudhole, and Pork and Bones mega app. Just
The three Albertan podcasts. All
Yeah.
three in one.
It was going
only
to be
three.
like the Avengers Endgame or whatever.
Exactly.
But
This is our end game.
fucking, where's Graham?
It's all downhill from here.
Where is Graham?
Yeah. He'll show up at the last minute. He'll save our butts.
We're gonna do
It'll be good.
a handoff halfway.
Yeah.
I don't like to compete with him, you know.
That's fair. That's really respectful. Yeah.
That's good.
But yeah, we still got David here, so that's a massive
critters.
interview.
Some reason decided to come back after Andre Rublev.
Yeah.
Well, I really enjoyed this movie, so I'm glad I stuck it out.
Yes.
Because
me
this was quite an exciting ride after the first 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
This is
worth watching. So should we just jump into the analysis and some summary?
Yeah, let's get into it, I say.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Cool. So I'll do a quick summary.
Perfect.
The movie is about two women who kill a man that they each have like a relationship with, and who's the headmaster of the school they both work at. So one is the his wife. So the man is Michel de la Salle.
Yeah.
Right.
French.
And then his wife is the rich woman, Christina.
Owns the school.
Yeah, she owns the
there.
school and has been financing it.
Yeah.
So that's Christina, played by Clouseau's wife in real life.
Oh.
Which is pretty cool. And I don't know, we'll get into spoilers later, but
yeah.
Yeah, she actually has a heart. She had a heart murmur and died of it in real life.
Oh wow. Damn.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I watched the kind of the accompaniment on the Criterion I have. That was a bit of like a video explaining. They said watch this before you watch the movie, and so I watched most of it before I watched the movie. And it talks about that. But anyways, yeah. So
That's sick.
That character is really important, and then the other one is the mistress, and also and like the physics teacher, kind of, Nicole. And so the two women go on a vacation, and they basically lure the man, Michel, to his death by drowning. He's sedated and then drowned. And then they come back to the school, dump him in a pool, and
all these mysterious things start.
These mysterious things happen. We're all like, "Oh my god, who's gonna find the body? Oh my god, how are they gonna get away with it?" But it very quickly shifts away from, the suspense shifts away from, are they going to get away with it, to who knows and what happened to the body? You know, right?
What is real?
Because the body goes missing. Yeah, I love that. Like that twist, I was not expecting that twist.
Yeah, me neither.
Once that happened, I was like, okay, I'm fully on board. I see why this is a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite, horror films. So the body goes missing. And then there's all these different setups of like people who have some connection to the murder, who might have suspected something, who feel kind of wrong in some way potentially.
Yeah.
There's other people who have incentives, and so you're trying to figure out who has taken this dead body and hidden it, and who's playing with the two killers and kind of playing with their nerves.
Exactly.
And we won't spoil the ending, but the ending
right away
is a jaw dropper. It's one of the all-time endings.
Yeah. It makes the film.
Yeah, it just makes the film. I can't stress watching it, but enough. But I would say that one thing we should probably honor the
little message
at the end of the film.
Yeah, for a little
Don't
bit.
Don't be a devil and spoil the movie for your friend.
We'll put a clear thing on screen if we do go over into spoiler territory.
We gotta get into
I'm sure
spoilers
we
at
will.
some
You
point.
At
know.
the very end, sure,
Yeah.
Yeah,
sure. So yeah, that's
but
the basic plot summary.
Yeah.
yeah, a
Yeah,
Hitchcockian tale.
Yeah.
definitely that. Yeah, it's kind of known as the Hitchcock movie that the best Hitchcock movie that he never made, kind of thing.
Yeah,
What's the other one like that? Was Charade seen as
uh,
that, or
not sure.
I don't
I've
know.
not
There's a
seen
few other
Charade.
movies that have. This is the one that definitely deserves the reputation.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, just
Um,
so suspenseful,
very
gripping,
suspenseful and keeps you on
all
the
the
edge of your
twists
seat.
and
You're like,
So
turns.
"Oh."
Yeah,
maybe we should get into a few of the really suspenseful moments and get into what makes them work.
Yeah, that sounds
So,
great.
what's suspense versus like horror is really a good thing to maybe talk about quickly,
Mm,
mm,
because a horror film's going to shock you usually. Some good ones will have focus on atmosphere and stuff, but horror is usually like the shock of an image, and it could be something that you can't fully understand. Like sometimes something that you can't fully understand. There's a lot of different theories of what makes something scary, but usually
mhm.
in horror movies, it's like a jump scare.
Yeah,
yeah,
easy way.
And there's a bit of suspense in between, but yeah, jump scares are really effective and common. But suspense is where there's all these different things set up that you might know, but the characters don't know, or one character doesn't know. And so you're just waiting for something to happen. You're praying it either happens or it doesn't, and you're like, um, and that becomes really tense, and it can be really scary too. Um,
Absolutely.
so I think one of the early suspense scenes is the wine bottle scene, and that one was
oh
a
yeah,
great subversion of suspense as well because it just shifts what the suspense is, even within that one scene. So I
mm,
don't know if you guys remember that scene or took
oh
note
yeah,
of it. It was pretty cool. Any thoughts on
yeah.
that scene, or you want me to keep going?
Uh, I
Um,
don't specifically remember the wine bottle scene that you're talking about. Is that towards the beginning of the movie?
Yeah,
when
the
he
scene
gets
at the beginning. So there, she
sedated.
puts yeah, they put the sedative in
Yeah,
the
Okay.
wine.
I thought that was like whiskey or something. That's why.
Oh, maybe. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe.
the
Yeah, I
alcohol.
guess it's it
alcohol
looks like a wine bottle, but I
Yeah, I
honestly I have
couldn't
no
know
clue,
for sure.
man.
But yeah, that was a great little
seems
subversion.
very intense. Such a what's the word? Chaotic character that Michelle. There's
Yeah,
Yeah.
suspense from that aspect of like, what will he do? Will they get away with it? Yeah, very effective there.
even from her, like, first appearances on screen, she's like, "We gotta fucking kill this guy." Like, she
Yeah,
comes in swinging.
Right,
I
the
was
Nicole
excited by that
character?
much. The yeah,
the
Nicole, sorry,
blonde
that's
The
yeah,
blonde one? Yeah.
yeah, Nicole.
mistress.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I found that scene really interesting because it goes from being because the main character, Christina, I would say she's kind of the main character of the movie.
I would say so, yeah.
The dark-haired one, kind of more of a traditional woman, and we'll get into how femininity and different kinds of women are created in the film, maybe if you're interested. But
Sure.
it's
Yeah.
kind of a basic take, and I don't have a lot to say about it. But anyways, um, she's she's the one who has to carry out the drugging, like getting him
Yeah,
to
the
take
initial
the
sedation.
alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, and so it shifts, and she feels bad for her husband a little bit. She feels guilty about it.
yeah. She's
Uh,
very
Yeah,
hesitant.
and
Almost
so it
doesn't
goes
go
from
through
well,
with
being
it.
like
she,
her going
yeah,
guns blazing, like I'm getting a divorce, and I talked to the lawyer, and so he's about to leave. Michelle's about to leave, and then she said, "No, I didn't do that." And I feel really bad for you. And then Michelle's really nice to her, kind of like saying, we're normal. It's not. You've really ruined my life in some ways by making us do this school thing. So the way I am is because of you, and you should feel bad for me. And
yeah.
that starts to work. And so he's about to drink, and she's like, "No, no, like
No, she
I
spills
don't
it
want to
all
go
over
through with
his
this anymore." And she
Prince of Wales
spills the drink on him, and
on his
Yeah,
Prince of Wales suit.
his Prince of Wales suit, which is a
yeah.
recurring character.
A mainstay.
Yeah.
Um, quite a character, that Prince of Wales suit. Anyways,
Um, yeah, I
spills on
thought
the suit,
yeah,
and he reveals himself to be a cruel bastard, and then she is
Yeah.
like, you know what, you're gonna get what you deserve. So I thought that was really cool how it
mhm.
shifts, how just the emotional shifts in that one suspense
Oh
scene
yeah.
go from
One
just being, is he gonna drink the wine at all? That's the first problem. I was like, is he even gonna get to drink this wine? and then it goes from being that to like, is she gonna is she gonna forgive him? So I
Yeah.
thought
Yeah.
that was cool. I thought that was a
Yeah,
really cool
even
scene.
going a little further back than that, when she's initially, like, just talking about it with Nicole and deciding whether or not she wants to kill him, she keeps bringing up, a lot of her, like, morals come from, like, a religious stance, like, she doesn't wanna get a
Oh, yeah.
divorce because it's a sin, but
Yeah.
also, like,
Mhm.
killing someone's a sin, and, she's balancing, like, well, what's worse, right? Like, killing
Yeah.
somebody or divorcing them, and
Well,
it
yeah,
almost seems,
Michelle
like,
is
very comparable, like, in her mind.
uh-huh.
Um,
Well, that's a good point. I mean,
interesting.
with the murder thing, like no one would have to know. So her reputation,
Exactly, yeah.
that's something that's talked about. Her reputation wouldn't be tainted. But in
Yeah,
the eyes of God, which she believes in, it would be the same effect.
mhm.
Almost. I mean, murder's a lot worse than getting a divorce. Don't
But she
no
thinks she'd
qualms
go to
there. But
hell,
under
like,
her
either way,
worldview, it
right?
might be
So,
similar. Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, that she kind of feels the consequences the same, but if she
Hmm.
divorces them, yeah, everybody knows she'll probably lose the school.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Um,
I
yeah, it's
mean,
like an interesting character
honestly,
choice.
Michelle is built up to be such a jerk that like
Yeah,
it seems like he's a good. Like honestly, if he was murdered, the uh the outcomes for everybody else would be great.
Yeah.
So if like
All the
yeah,
divine
kids.
providence,
Yeah.
like lightning strikes and he dies, it'd be a great outcome for just everybody
yeah.
involved.
Yeah.
Did
The film
he
does a
there
really
Massive
good
kick.
job of making
very
him
beginning,
hateable.
yeah, they make him hateable, and they show that, like, he hit, Nicole, like, she has a bruise or
Yeah.
whatever. But that goes away like, that bruise goes away pretty quickly. Do you think, like, that was makeup? Did she set that up? Or, like, uh, maybe that gets too deep into spoiler
Yeah.
talk. Maybe I'll cut that out,
I no, yeah,
but
cut that out. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
I didn't I never really thought I thought she was I thought she was actually being abused as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Be my
And
assumption.
I don't remember if that comes to be different, like if that has any bearing on the ending or not. We don't have to get into that
Mhm.
until
Okay.
later. But yeah, I think it was genuine. I never
Yeah.
suspected her to
Yeah,
be,
no, I didn't
on any
suspect it,
plot or
like,
anything.
at the moment, at least. I think
Me
it's just
Yeah.
neither, yeah.
in retrospect. Um, yeah.
Yeah. So while we're talking about them, the differences between the two women maybe is it's quite striking and definitely a deliberate
Mhm.
choice. It's not,
Mhm.
Yeah.
this is 1955. I'm sure divorce was just kind of becoming a thing that was starting to be talked about.
Yep.
And modern chic women versus a traditional Catholic woman is another kind of thing that in 1955, that's around the end of the time that like religion
Super
is like a
dominant.
dominant force in culture. I'm not sure about
Mhm.
France, but at least in North America, it's starting to decline pretty significantly.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. I like,
Um,
how the movie kinda plays around with the classic film noir archetypes for women, like, kinda the femme
Mhm.
fatale and
Mhm.
the housewife kinda thing, and how they
Yep.
both kinda have the same objectives supposedly
mhm.
throughout. It's interesting. It's cool stuff.
Yeah, they're like
Kinda turns them
allies.
on
They're
their head.
almost in like a
Yeah.
coded lesbian relationship.
Yeah, it
Yeah, and
certainly felt like that for
that's where I read
especially while
something
they're
that
on vacation.
the original novel, I think they might have actually been in a relationship. Let me look into that real quick.
That's interesting. Yeah.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know that it was based on a novel. That
Oh,
is
yeah, so
interesting.
it is,
Yeah,
and, I read something about how
Hitchcock.
this movie's realism in its direction really shifted away. You know how, like, in a novel, some of this stuff, if it's not done right, it could seem totally, like, implausible and
Mhm.
fantastical,
Yeah.
but I think the film does such a
Cool
good
scene,
job
I
of,
feel
like,
like.
being realist, like,
Mhm.
making it seem like it's real life and focusing on, like, world building in a plausible way, that it's the kind of fantastical mystery plot
There are
seems
a couple of
realistic.
things that you kinda have to wave away, like,
Yeah,
and, like, the
true.
film even acknowledges them as being, like, coincidences,
I think the
and so
detective is the
the
biggest
detective,
one,
that's the big
just
one that I'm
throughout,
thinking.
especially
Yeah.
at the end. I'm like, "Okay, that's
Yeah, I have a
ridiculous that
couple of
you were there
questions
for that."
about that once we get
Not that you
into it.
piece it together, but that you were that even there was, like, wild.
Yeah. Well, and even his
Sure.
initial introduction where uh, he's at a morgue at the same time that, Christina
Yeah.
happens to be there as well.
Mhm, mhm.
So, and also he's like a retired police inspector, but still has
So
his
he's like really good at
badge and stuff.
this. Yeah.
They say he's really good at it. I don't
You
know.
thought
He
he
has
was bad?
major Columbo vibes. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I
Major
didn't think that
Columbo
he was
vibes.
bad. I felt like he was like an old man trying to like prove himself. Like that was more the character that I
Okay.
got out of
I
it rather
just
than
thought he was
a
like a
hardened,
funny plot
experienced guy.
device. Like the
Yeah,
really annoying detective who's doing it despite every like reasonable like it's just a really funny plot device. He kind of stood out as a bit too wacky to be in a realist movie.
yeah,
Um
I agree.
like he's just kind of there to spite the main character almost unintentionally. You know, it's like he doesn't realize it, but that he's basically causing her a bunch of grief in the background and playing exactly against his intentions in a certain sense. Until the end. Until
Till
we
the
find out
very
that he's
end.
actually being helpful.
Yeah, it just happened to be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he stumbled
Don't think
upon
he
it.
really figured anything out, but
Hey, hey, hey. I thought, you
Columbo
know what?
vibes.
Yeah. Okay, fine. There's a look, he
maybe
had
he's a
it all
genius.
he
They
pieced
didn't
it together, look, because there was yeah.
if he pieced it together, then I have like one big problem with the end. If he knew. Um, but maybe
We
that's for
still
later.
can't talk about it because it's
I
too
know.
legendary and it's
Such
too
a and they make you promise at the end of the movie. You should stop watching
yeah,
before
I
the
know,
title
I
card.
know.
Otherwise, you'll get haunted. Um,
Okay.
by the way, there is a lesbian relationship in the source novel between Lucienne and Muriel.
Okay.
Um,
Those other
yeah,
characters?
I I'm not sure. Could be
I
like,
think they had different names maybe
Okay.
yeah,
under
what
the
I'm
That makes
thinking.
sense.
I also found out that, the novelist I think it's a pair of two people wrote that novel, that this is based on. They also wrote
Yeah,
the
the boy
novel
that knows a jack off.
that Vertigo was based on,
Yeah,
um,
Oh,
it's an
because
very
interesting.
Hitchcock
uh,
really liked this movie, and he
He
also
wanted to make this movie
he said he wanted
apparently.
to make it. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a licensing kind of duel between Clouseau and Hitchcock.
Yeah. So this became really, like, inspirational on, Vertigo,
there you go.
especially because there's kind of like a bit of a
Yeah,
deception going on with, someone being yeah, let's not get to that actually, because that's a spoiler again. But there's
yeah,
similarities, very strong similarities. And then,
Yeah.
Psycho was
yeah.
apparently also inspired and
Inspired.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I saw a little, extra on the Criterion channel about that,
yeah, yeah.
but that's spoilers.
Yeah, it's spoilers.
spoilers,
But yeah, no,
spoilers.
I
Um,
thought
but
that's cool that, it was actually explicit in the novel. Here it's kind
Yeah,
of subtext, which they
hmm
didn't really have to do that because it's in France, but for the time it'd be a
yeah.
little bit extreme. So
yeah.
That would have gotten censored, I think. But oh well. You guys want to move on to more suspenseful scenes, standout
Yeah.
suspenseful scenes?
A suspenseful scene that I loved was when, um, Nicole and Christina are waiting basically for, Michelle's body to turn up,
Yeah,
and
yeah, same.
you're just like,
hmm
"Oh, what's going on? Why isn't it there?" And
hmm
they're going through all these actions of like, "Well, we can't ask, like, the pool cleaner to clean it because it's gonna be too
Yeah,
suspicious."
that
Like,
looks
how do we figure this out without, like, really drawing attention to ourselves?
yeah.
yeah.
That seems
And
disturbing
the whole
too, I
time,
find,
there's, like,
with all the
children
kids.
running around the
Yeah,
pool, and you're like, "How
But like
oh, this is gonna be so bad when, like, that
yeah.
carcass
And
shows up."
they send the kid down there pretty much. Like,
Yeah,
it's
into
really
that like
dark.
swamp of a
Nicole
pool.
sends the kid down there, right?
Like
It's
the pool is at
Yeah,
least so murky and dirty
real
that it's at
morbid.
least plausible that no one sees that there's a body down
yeah,
there, which is
Yeah,
like
I think that's
honestly credit to the movie for that, for making me believe it was
yeah.
possible to hide a
and I was
body in a
also thinking,
pool
like, they
in
kept the body underwater, like, for a whole night, right? So, it makes
yeah,
sense that, maybe all the gases have already released, whatever, like, it wouldn't
yeah,
float up, like, it would be stuck down there.
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's for
that
the
seems
physicists who were like scratching
Yeah,
their head. Um,
that's for the podcasters.
that's for the podcasters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that sequence with the pool.
very effective. All
I
the crowds gathering closer and closer to the pool, just
oh
waiting
my
for that body to come up. It's great.
Yeah, and you've already seen the body at that point too, right? And you're like, "It's
mhm.
Yeah.
disgusting." Like, it's
It is
gross.
gross. Eyes
Yeah, she
rolling.
calls it ugly. She says, "Oh, he's
Yeah,
so ugly."
yeah, and she's right, like,
Yeah.
it's disturbing.
It's quite the sight.
Um, I really like that scene with the game show going on upstairs at the start of the movie,
Yeah,
or the
that was
start,
so fun.
the neighbors. So I
Oh,
thought that guy was, like, behind the whole,
Yeah.
removing the body plot. Like,
I
somehow he
thought he
got
would
past
come
the
up later.
guard and, like, he's just been fucking around with them.
yeah. I thought
And
he
I
was gonna
thought
be
that to the very end,
instrumental.
honestly.
I
That or the
definitely thought that he
detective.
was gonna, like, tattle on them, be like, "Ah,
Yeah,
they were
I
the
thought
ones that
he was.
murdered." He's like,
I
Because,
thought
like,
he was gonna
"Who's
he
give away
after
some
pretty
Alibi?"
alibi.
much he has down to the minute descriptions of
Yeah,
their
Yeah,
actions.
exactly.
And
Such
then
a
he
red
has,
herring.
like, knowledge that the case they have is has an it also had an actual body inside of it, like, they put a real person in who was
was
alive
super heavy.
to just make it so that they actually had to lug that up, and I think they did a ton of takes of it too, because Clouseau is, um, kind of a perfectionist as well,
Shout out.
and a bit demanding, so, yeah. Um,
They certainly looked like they were struggling to move that body into the car.
yeah.
Yeah, you felt that realism.
Yeah.
So, I'm just trying to think what else was yeah, that was a good pause.
Yeah,
Um,
um,
trying to think what else.
Meditation moments.
Oh, I just loved how that they, like, fucked him out of $32,000 because they were making too much noise downstairs. That was so funny. So I thought he had the right amount of motive and the right amount of knowledge to kinda start blackmailing them. The only problem
yeah,
is, like, he wouldn't have the right amount of ability or time
Mhm.
or anything. So I feel like that might have been run counter, to that.
yeah, it would've been difficult to get him to a point where, like, it makes sense that he's, like, putting all the pieces together.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they set him up as, like, a smart guy, right? Like, maybe he's like, "Oh, that person's wife went missing."
Mhm.
Like, he showed up later, drowned. There was a bath. I think they coulda made it work, but yeah, I'm happier the direction the movie chose to go rather than
Yeah.
maybe a more traditional, like, detective comes in and solves everything. And the murder is more straightforward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked all the red herrings and twists and
Mhm.
misdirections.
I
It
like the
was
lighter at the bottom of the pool. I
yeah.
was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's gonna be important," and it
Mhm.
never was really that
really.
important again, other than the detective looks at it and maybe that helps him come to the conclusion that, she's not she's not the only party involved in this murder, that maybe that well, again, we can't spoil it, so,
Yeah.
that's gonna be that we're just never gonna reveal what happens at the end. I think that's better for the episode, so we just can't finish our thoughts, and this could be, like, the theme of
Yeah.
the episode, you know?
The whole thing is just half thoughts,
It's
half
just edging for
Yeah.
exactly.
50
Just
minutes.
teasing our critters.
Diabolique episode is edging, yeah.
Sorry?
Well,
Yeah.
our
I didn't have
last
anything to
David
say.
episode was also thematically charged, so
Yeah, that
so
one
is
was
this one.
about tiredness and
Yeah,
Meditation.
meditation
emptiness
and,
and taking a long
being
journey.
long-winded.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yeah.
reading Wikipedia articles.
Yep.
I don't even have
Pseudo-intellectualism.
Wikipedia open for this one. I feel like I remember enough of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a movie I enjoyed watching a lot more. I think it's also personally, I think it's a better movie, but, in terms
Yeah,
of,
I'd
like, the
agree.
smarter movie, I guess it's Andrei Rublev, so,
This movie's
This movie's pretty
tip
so
smart.
tip
tight.
my fedora to that,
Movie
but
It's not
It's a
as
tight
in your
movie.
face about its smartness, though, you know?
mhm,
Andrei Rublev's annoying smart. This movie's, like, clever, you know?
yeah.
Tight. It's real tight. It's
Okay, I'm
epic.
trying to think. Oh, you know what another great scene was? When it's with the detective as well, when he's going through the closet,
Yeah,
trying to establish what the murder victim was wearing. And this is where you're like, okay, he knows like, I also thought he could have known somehow, like, maybe he was the guy that the dude hired or some shit. I was trying to piece it together in my mind, that the neighbor hired or something. Um,
okay.
I have no dude, I know it sounds crazy, but, anyways, I love this the scene with the closet where he's like, okay, there's 6 pairs here, and he had a 7th, so by deductive reasoning, I've shown you what the different, like, qualities of these shoes are. Which one was he wearing? And she's like,
Yeah,
"The brown suede ones." And then, um, he goes to the ties, and before he can even get to like describing any of them to find the missing one, she says, "And it was a red striped, tie."
Yeah,
And he immediately becomes suspicious that there's oh,
something going on.
OMG.
I made
Graham
it.
made it.
I made it.
this is the handoff. No, it's not the
No.
handoff. I'll stay on for another 10 at least.
Okay, great.
What's up?
Welcome, Graham.
You
We're
guys
just
are done
talking
the
about
pod? It's been what, like 30 minutes?
we're talking. We're just going through some scenes right now. We're
Okay.
talking, and we're not spoiling it. We're trying not to, at least.
We're never the theme
Well,
of this
yeah, there
episode
was.
is we never spoil the ending because we
Well, yeah,
have to
there was
agree to the
that.
contract.
There was that. Yeah, the thing at the end.
So we're currently going through the scene where the uh, inspector detective guy is going through Michelle's closet and trying to detect what outfit he was wearing at the time he disappeared.
And we
Uh,
find out that Christina is not very good at keeping her cool.
Not at all.
I mean, you could get that from like the first 5 minutes of the movie.
Yeah, no, it's true, but it really, really comes back here to show that she knows more than she's letting on, and the detective has every reason to be
Super
suspicious. Um, but yeah, the great shot of him closing the door as he's asking him what kind of suit.
Yeah. The biggest gasp in the world.
So wait, did they explicitly say like what they're all a part of? Like, is that a boarding school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a private boarding
We
school.
actually didn't talk at all about the students or anything like that, or really even describe that it was a boarding school. So sorry about that, critters.
There's one great student who just keeps getting sent to the corner, and that was
Yeah.
bad. He stands there like all night.
Poor guy.
He's the one that is seeing the ghosts, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he might be a liar. Everybody
He
thinks he's a
sees
liar.
Michelle
Michelle.
when Michelle's supposed to be dead, or when Michelle's dead. Sorry. And then he sees Christina when Christina's supposed to be dead or is dead. So pretty wild character. He's just like seems to be a compulsive liar.
But we never see him compulsively lie. We're just told
No.
he is.
We're just told he is by
Those other teachers.
Nicole, mostly.
Nicole, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
He's
that
a
makes sense.
compulsive truth teller.
Potentially. So
There's some little cheeky things in this. Can we talk about
very
the
cheeky.
class photo without spoiling it?
yeah, I think so. Kind of.
Yeah, sorta.
We
Okay.
could do it. It might not be as interesting, but we could do it.
Maybe we shouldn't then. Maybe we'll wait for.
Trying to
more
think what else
spoilers.
was really a standout scene.
There was one thing I noticed when they're drowning the guy,
Mm-hmm.
Monsieur
Very
le
quick
Directeur. When he floats back up while they're grabbing the heavy object to keep him under the water, you can see that he breathes out of his nose. Like his air, the airflow out of his nose disrupts the surface of the water when his
wow.
nose peeks out.
And
Well, I
it's
mean,
also like the
he
quickest
doesn't have
drowning
to be
ever.
dead at that point, right? Well, I assumed that they put the statue on him, or that's
Yeah.
and so that he just stays dead, or make
Yeah.
sure.
I just thought I didn't notice that, but I would just chalk that up to the fact that the take was off and they left it in.
Well,
You
they
know?
set up that he's a great swimmer, like he could have
That's
held
true.
his breath for a little bit initially, and then, yeah, I
But
don't
they
know.
say, even the greatest swimmers drown. They,
Exactly.
remember that
Well-
scene where the guy at the pool, kind of the groundskeeper, is telling Christina
The-
that.
Yeah.
I think you can also look at it though as you are what you eat, and he was eating all that fish, so
She
probably
loved
breathed underwater.
that fish that we should have
Oh,
known.
we didn't talk about how stingy he is.
Yeah,
That's
he gives the
great.
kid,
How
one
he-
sausage and 2 bits of something. That's all they can eat. And the staff are eating the same fish over and over again, it seems like. It's great.
He's also a
there's the
womanizer. Oh,
two.
that's sorry.
Sorry, I was gonna say there's those two teachers that after Michelle has gone missing, and they're like, "We finally broke out the good wine. Like, good days are here."
Hmm. I like the scene when they trace they've basically followed the Prince of Wales suit arrives, and you're like, what the fuck? What's
Yeah,
going
Oh,
on?
that seems so good.
So
So
good,
eerie.
right?
how the rest of
And
the movie was gonna go. Like, they were gonna unfold the mystery together.
yeah, yeah, I thought that was really cool when that comes up,
That
and then they go
scene.
to the laundromat. They find a
Oh,
key. Then they go
that
to
scene
the
is so
the
cool.
she goes to the hotel on her own,
Yeah,
and then this dude walks out of like the closet in the room she's walking into, and I
scariest,
was like,
like,
holy
biggest
fuck!
man.
He looks like a
Scary
butcher,
looking
like
dude.
Yeah,
Has a big bandage on his head.
scary as fuck. And then he basically reveals that her husband has come here at different points, but never really hasn't been here for a while, and has kind of always slipped by unnoticed to either him or the person who's on the shift before him.
yeah,
And I thought that was a really cool detail that there's just so much about this
Yeah.
guy we didn't know and she didn't know, because obviously he has a very prominent affair with his mistress, but
yeah.
there's a lot of
Probably
other
has
stuff he's doing.
multiple other women going at the same time.
Yeah.
He's
Michelle as a
My
character,
man.
he has such a presence, this character, and I find in just the scenes where that presence is like implied, it's so effective in just creating this like eerie, tense atmosphere, right? You're like almost
absolutely.
waiting for him to run through the door and like slap the girl, just be awful. Like
Hmm.
that scene where the guy's coming in with the laundromat stuff, his face is blocked out, and the suspense first comes through like, who is this guy? Is
Yeah,
this Michelle? But no, it's just his stupid Prince of Wales suit, and then it's just like his presence is hanging over the room, and it's dreadful on so many levels. It's such effective horror filmmaking. It's good
yeah,
stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
absolutely.
Do you guys
Yeah.
have anything to say about like well, do you guys want to say anything? I was going to say maybe we could try to talk about the images or something like that. There were maybe a few that stood out to me.
Yeah, I'd be down to
Anything
transition to
special
that.
about the
There's no other
direction? Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I mean, there's no other scenes that, I could think of.
There's no scenes?
Uh, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying we can move on to yours.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I really like that scene when she's talking about how like time's passing and how it's basically it'll take an hour to clean out the pool, and she's watching. Um, she looked up at the clock. Thought that was kind of cool, and then she's giving a lesson while she's overlooking the pool,
Oh yeah.
and I thought those images were pretty well placed. Um, Especially the image of the clock with time. I always like it when they do that. I know maybe I'm a bit easy in terms of that, but
So
It's a classic for a reason, right? It works.
did they
yeah,
put his body in the pool? I think I missed that.
they
Yep.
They
dump it in the
do.
pool after
Yeah.
they come back.
There's like a
Okay.
second where they're like, "Oh, somebody's watching us," but then the light
Because
turns off.
I vividly remember the scene where she's looking out at the pool while teaching the lesson or whatever. And you see
Yeah,
the
so she thinks that the body's in the pool. Or
mm,
I thought
at that
also
point.
another image that stuck out was near the ending, not the exact ending, because that's obviously a scene that will live in
Mystery and
infamy or something. I don't know, but the scenes leading up to that, like when she's following when she's in the basement following the lights that she sees while she's up. Um, she wakes up in the middle of the night, sees lights and across kind
Mhm.
of the building, and follows those lights to the basement. And then there's like cuts between her face and the legs of other people moving, so you don't know. Um,
Yeah.
it just kind of obscures who it is, and
mhm.
I thought that was a good way to do it. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know if there's
I think
anything else
another
to say about that.
strong,
But it
like,
reminds me of
image and
Fateful Findings, which I watched the day
Neil
before.
Breen film.
Yeah, and
Equally
it
as
has a lot of
sobering.
shots of the bottom of people's legs and their feet in boots,
Do
and
you think
they're
Neil
never
Breen was
explained.
directly inspired by this movie?
Yeah,
I think
I'd
so.
say so.
I haven't seen Fateful
Without
Findings.
a
I haven't
doubt.
seen any
Could have
Breen
been
movies.
inspired by Tarantino as well, but
That's
They do
true.
make a point in this movie of being like, I love having my shoes off. It
Yeah.
That's true.
really frees me up, and I was like, that's a Tarantino line right there.
hmm
And then they don't really show too many feet, so kind of disappointing.
What was I gonna say? I've forgotten it. Continue.
I feel like we
I thought,
covered
Hell
a lot
yeah.
of ground.
yeah, another like kind of strong image, and this comes towards the end. We won't spoil it here, but when uh, Christina is following a character with like the leather gloves, and in those scenes, you hear like it's just her breath and like the typewriter, and the typewriter's getting like
Oh yeah.
louder and louder, and we know,
Oh yeah.
like we've previously established, that it's Michelle's typewriter, and maybe he's like not very good at typing or something. Uh, Yeah, I thought that was
Just like
quite
that.
effective, and just, like, a really, like, mystery, like, who could this be? What's
Mhm.
Yeah.
gonna happen? Um, Anybody could be wearing leather gloves. And he,
Yeah.
like, the person who was wearing them, like, carefully sets them on the typewriter too to make it look like a ghost was typing or something. It's very silly, but I liked it.
This is one of the best gaslighting films ever.
Yeah.
It is.
Absolutely,
I
yeah.
think Rosemary's Baby maybe takes it over this, but
How about Gaslight?
I haven't seen it, but
It's where
maybe
the
maybe
film
that's the OG. So
that's what I've heard is actually the term gaslighting comes from that movie.
so
We on the Critter Pit
Cool.
prefer the term mentally pranking.
Yeah, mentally
right.
pranking is the PC way of putting that.
Yeah,
Okay. I
YouTube
didn't
will
know it was
flag
such a
us if we say
controversial term though.
gaslight too much.
Ethan,
Right.
there is no movie called Gaslight.
There
You
is
sure?
no way.
Oh, you fucking mental
I fell for
prankster.
it. Fuck.
You're
Fuck
You
crazy.
me.
mental
Fuck me.
prankster, you.
You mental prankster.
I think someone wrote gullible on my ceiling. And I'm looking at it
Alright.
right now.
I'm
So
heading over there.
No
yeah.
way.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta go. Gotta
I
come
gotta
down.
see
Gotta
this.
check.
Gotta see it. Uh, should we
Trying to
spoil the movie? Are we allowed
No,
to?
you can't.
No.
Is this the time? Okay, fine. Okay.
We're
You have to
37.
close your
Big
ears
spoiler
for
alert.
this, okay?
Unless you've seen the film.
Can't utter it. It's said at the end.
Oh
Gotta
shit.
get
Okay,
Will
but
not be
reversed.
what if
repeated.
none of us utters it on our own? We share.
We go around the
Yeah,
thing
we
and
kind of
do a
piece it
word.
out together.
Okay.
So the Michelle is
Working with
The
Nicole.
blonde lady.
And she
didn't
well no. Okay.
Keep going, Sam. I liked your
and he
trail.
didn't kill Michelle.
Michelle.
Yeah.
He
So
was wearing fake eyes.
That was awesome.
And
That
he
that
was
was
came
a
up
good
sick.
reveal.
at the bathtub.
Those fake eyes, that was crazy. I did not see that part coming at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. But
I
you
thought it
said
was gonna go full
you predicted in
supernatural.
your letterbox review.
I
So
predicted that Nicole was gaslighting.
okay.
But I thought that they killed Michelle. I thought that Nicole's plan was to like kill Michelle, but also like through the process kill Christina, and then take
Mhm.
over the school as headmaster herself.
Mhm.
Because there's a few lines that the other teachers say that are like, "Oh, Nicole's certainly taken over, hey?" And I was like, "Oh, I see what's going on here. I see what's
Ah.
going on."
Yeah.
But I wasn't quite right.
Interesting. So yeah, I mean that's
What a
a
twist, though.
what a twist.
What a
Incredible
twist.
twist.
What a scary scene too when he gets up
It
and you're
is
like, what is
genuinely
happening?
Why did
Is
he
terrifying.
he
set it?
being
Yeah,
like,
I
is
mean,
this in her
yeah,
mind or what's happening?
yeah.
It
He
is so
was going for the
freaky.
kill.
So
Oh,
yeah, so she dies of a heart attack
Yep.
and they are gonna get the inheritance and then the convenient detective or inconvenient detective comes in and says,
gotcha.
yeah, you're both going to prison for
But
15 to
why are they
20.
going to prison? Like,
He's
I don't
pieced
think
it
that they.
together.
But what did they do that was like illegal?
They killed
But they
They
didn't
girl.
kill. He had a heart
literally
attack. Like,
Well,
They scared her
they
so
set
bad.
up.
There's a
They
law
s-
in France. If you scare someone so
Oh,
bad and they have a heart attack,
you
it's
mentally
murder.
prank someone so hard they die.
It's
You go
very
Yeah.
to
against
jail
the
for
law.
life.
Mental pranking in France. It's frowned upon,
Frowned
actually.
upon. That makes sense.
Um, I think this is the film actually that made it illegal to mentally prank people.
It
I
had
heard
such a
that the
strong influence in French
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah, what I heard actually is the director of this movie campaigned really hard to make it a law before the film came out, so that there would
So it
be,
would
like,
make
good
sense.
press around,
Oh, okay.
this kinda
But
gaslighting culture.
I think it's illegal what they did. They set up the circumstances to kill
Mm,
someone with a poor heart condition. Like
Yeah, there's
like the
something
lengths they
wrong,
go
but I
to.
don't think they're gonna.
I don't
I
think
don't
that
know.
they would go to like, not for that long, I don't
Not
know.
for like that long. Yeah, maybe we'll have to.
If
I don't
Again,
that
know
we'll
if
have
that's
to get a
either.
legal expert on for a different
if that
episode.
Yeah,
detective could get like thorough documentation of their plans, it would definitely be
Mhm.
illegal.
my only,
Thorough.
like, exposure to the French court is through Paths of Glory, and it did
Right.
not seem like a
They're
very
not
good
too
system at
good.
the time.
Yeah.
Nah, that's true. Fuck.
I think they might get away with it, guys.
So justice will not
Fuck.
be served.
Nope.
Did
Justice does not suffer.
did the one girl, like I guess the main girl, did she remind anyone else of like Dorothy from Wizard of Oz?
Yes.
That's what
She
my
Yeah.
looks
mom
so
said.
much
She
like her,
watched the
yeah.
first
Did
few
a
minutes
lot.
and said that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Especially
but
with what she's wearing in some of the first scenes too.
And
Like,
she has the braids for a lot of it as well.
yeah.
mhm.
2 braids.
But isn't it crazy though that like Vera Clouseau, the woman who plays Christina, dies of heart failure, I think,
Are you
2 years later.
suggesting that Clouseau
He
Oh,
made
had
this
this as a
shit.
knowing
plan? That he was
yeah,
setting up
there
his
might be a
manifesto
bit
in
of
this
an
movie?
inheritance here. We have to look into
Was
it.
she rich? Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my god,
I
this
don't
movie's
know.
a fucking confession.
It
Yep.
is.
Oh my
Just like
god.
Rosemary's Baby. She uh um
What what
what?
what
What?
would Rosemary's Baby be a confession of for
Well,
Well,
the
Roman
villains
Polanski
in
wasn't a
that
great
that
guy.
he's the
That's all I'm gonna
devil? That
say.
he
Okay.
the villains
yeah.
in that are like child rapists, right? Rosemary's Baby.
They're
She's not a
rapists.
child. She's like a
I don't remember. It's been
She's a
years.
Rosemary.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the villains in Chinatown are like child rapists.
Yeah, there's always
It's
I
a
always
through
find that
line.
weird
A
in
through
his
line,
movies.
Polanski. Odd. Trying
Yeah.
to tell us something.
Yeah, she died of a heart attack at the age of 46. There you go. I'm just
Damn.
looking up if she had any inheritance.
I'm
Uh,
I'm sure
she was
Clouseau,
born to a Brazilian congressman, writer, journalist, lawyer, and ex-president of the United Nations
oh my
International
god,
Law
she's
Committee.
loaded. She's
So
loaded.
she's loaded as fuck.
Yeah.
So
Shit.
But did she die as quickly as she did in the movie?
that's a good question. No, I don't think so. Well, how old is she supposed to be in the movie?
No, I don't mean by
Oh, after
age. I mean
marrying
like
8
she
years? You mean like after 8 years of marriage?
no, she died in like a split second in the movie.
Oh, oh,
Well, there
well,
was a
okay.
lot of setup. She was on bed rest. She was like, "If you move,
Yeah.
you're gonna die." Like, they
Yeah.
set that up pretty clearly.
Okay, but I
Yeah.
still think if you're having a heart attack, you don't just immediately like close your eyes and fall limp. But
Well, I want to see when they got married. That's maybe the better question. 10 years roughly. They were married 10 years. So that's kind of similar. 8 years,
Yeah,
10 years.
he
You
knew.
know,
He was
this
setting
is a
this
bit of a
all up.
confession, I think.
Clouseau,
We
what
are
an
onto
idiot.
Eerie,
something big,
eerie.
man. Wow.
Yeah, but no, great,
Crack
great
the
scene. The
case.
twists are wild, but I
Yeah.
And
was
then
able to mostly believe them throughout the film. And I think that's a sign of a good narrative with
there's
good
Absolutely.
one
twists.
final twist though at the very end of the film,
Yeah, there is.
and I love it. Love it so much.
She's not dead.
Is
Little
she
did
not
she
we
dead?
know.
Is
don't
she
know.
a
We don't know.
ghost? What is going on? Is she mentally pranking them?
The whole
Right,
time.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe she faked her death. Maybe there's
That's
like
what I
a
was thinking.
scene that, we don't see, but she talks to the inspector guy and is like, the inspector is like, "I figured everything out. The husband's still alive.
Yeah.
I just
Just fake their
think
death and I'll arrest them."
I think that's a thing with rich people. She was probably setting this up from the beginning because rich people, they know everyone's after their money. So
Rich people stay
Mhm.
rich.
Mm,
yeah,
And all
yeah.
that Christian stuff was like a
It was
false
a front.
front. Yeah.
She
Maybe that's
admitted to
commentary
it.
on
It was a
society,
front.
French culture. Think about it, guys.
and if
And the
she fakes her
aristocracy.
death, too, the school's not going to need any more money from her. They're not going to be able to get any more money
Mhm.
from her.
But there's that kid
Even though
who says,
it's like
"Oh,
the
she,
school.
I
Yeah,
saw her," which is that kid's trustworthy. It turns out. So I think
I
she
think
didn't
so.
do it, guys. I'm
Uh,
gonna be honest.
Although he
Yeah,
did
I
back
think
down after 6 hours of standing in a corner, so he's not super reliable.
After 6 hours of standing in the corner, that's
Yeah,
true. What a wimp!
what a wimp. If you believed in truth, you would stand in that corner for your whole
Till you
life.
died. Yeah.
I think she gave him that slingshot as a thank you for because she realized the whole thing was a prank, a mental prank after he said that he was still alive,
Hmm.
Michelle. So she gave him that slingshot so that he, as a thank you, and so that he could break the windows of the school, and she wouldn't have to pay for it.
That's a good point too. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow. Well, I think we figured it out. This
And
is
wait
like
for
the
Diabolique 2, where she pulls
yeah.
another scam.
I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. We're really breaking new ground too with this review.
I think so. I think
yeah,
that
We're
we
the first people to think of this.
we
probably.
are.
I mean, we're the first people to think of it because everybody else has honored the rule. We broke the
Yeah.
rule.
No, we didn't. We said it. Different
Uh,
people were saying it. No one actually said the whole thing,
Nobody said it out
I
loud.
don't
which is
know.
just like how the French
I
court
think we're
thing makes
fucked.
sense. Okay, yeah, you're right. Probably under the French courts, we're fucked
We're
Yeah,
fucked.
the French
based on
court.
how sketchy their um, evidence is. They just kind of seem to go with whatever seems right. Like,
They
If
they
oh
they
well,
anything
go
in
off
they
the
vibes.
episode,
they
they
go
would
off
just say
vibes. They go
guilty.
off vibes, so
They're
we're
a
fucked.
they're a
Yeah.
vibe-based
Well,
court.
I don't know what the English subtitles said at the end, but the French text at the end made it seem like you can't say any of the events of the movie.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
did
I
kind of
think
seem like that.
we're screwed either way, even if we don't
It
give.
says, "Don't be diabolical. Do not destroy the interest that your friends may have in this movie. Do not tell them what you have seen. Thank you
It's also
on their behalf."
I think we're building interest for it, though. I think that we're putting this movie out there to all the critters that wouldn't
there's
have
gonna
otherwise
yeah
seen it.
exactly. Critter
That
Nation is
we're gonna
strong,
see
and
the
Critter Nation is
Criterion
under
Channel
our
numbers
control.
for this movie. They're gonna go way up after this episode releases.
Oh
I
yeah,
know.
Okay.
we're tastemakers
So you're
on the
gonna
Critter
love.
Pit.
Yeah.
That's
Exactly.
just
So I think I'm gonna have to go. I think we covered pretty much everything I want to talk about. At least I don't know if there's anything you guys.
Perfect.
Well, what would you rate it before you go?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a strong. I'm gonna give it a solid 9.
Damn.
I think it's pretty much as perfect as a movie can be in this genre and for its time. And it really surprised me. And when movies can do all those, can meet those criteria, generally it's a good movie. So yeah,
I
probably a
agree.
9.
Yeah, I gave it an 8. Similar reasons. There are just like a couple things that after you leave, I'll shit on the movie a little bit more.
Perfect.
So yeah, no, I gave it
Because
an
I
8.
don't want to fucking hear it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't
You
want
know?
to tarnish this movie at all for you.
Yep. Ethan.
Oh, my rating? 8 out of 10.
Nice. How about you, Graham?
I
I
also
like it.
gave it a solid 8. I will admit I was pretty distracted for most of the movie.
Yeah.
But there was some boring moments, some kind of long-winded moments. There was one part where I literally
You did
looked
not
away
sit
for
through Andrei Rublev. You don't know
yeah.
long-winded.
Yeah. You don't
I
know
don't
what
know,
we've been
maybe
through.
it depends. With Diabolique, like there was a scene where I looked away for like 10 minutes and I looked back and finally the scene had like reached its conclusion when I looked back.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
got the entirety of the scene even though I looked away for 15 minutes. So
You missed their nuanced conversation of arguing and reaching the conclusion that they started at. It's a lot of the movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was enjoyable. I liked the twists. I liked the style of it. I liked that I could understand it without
Mhm.
subtitles.
Oh
Yeah.
wow.
I guess this is like just barely pre um, French New Wave, so
Oh yeah, I
Yeah,
read the
the
article
movies
in
were
my
so good.
Criterion thing. They like the French New Wave guys, they shit on Clouseau.
They shit
What?
on this movie?
Not specifically, they didn't get into it, but they just said he was part of the old establishment, the tradition of quality. They kind of put it, which was stodgy and based on like old novels and stuff. But that wasn't true of Clouseau. He just kind of became a
Well, this
victim
is
of
based
that.
on a novel.
Like this is based on a novel, but it's not based on
Pope.
like a historical kind of
I mean,
older
why
French
would you be
novel.
mad at quality? I thought that this was
It
probably
was
one of the best quality old films from France that I'd seen, besides
yeah.
the car shots. But
They it's a
Harsh.
The car
yeah
shots are
yeah
insane.
they're pretty bad. The projection and stuff.
Yeah.
The tradition of quality thing was more of a term they used to describe like filmmaking that was um
Boring.
boring basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
And unfortunately he was a victim of that despite the fact that like he wasn't the main target, but he because he's part of the older generation of filmmakers, he kind of didn't make a lot of films after this. He made a few. I think he made 3 or 4 more after this, and none of them
Wow.
had the same level of success. Um,
That's too bad.
I
Should have
also
moved
found out
to
he made a
America
movie.
like
The
all the
next movie
other
he made after this was Picasso painting on for just 80 minutes. A documentary
oh,
of that.
I've seen
Shit.
clips of that.
Yeah, and I think it's on I'm not sure if it's on a glass frame or something. I was just reading a description of it,
Yeah,
and
I
so
think it is.
yeah, yeah.
It's either on a
That's
glass frame or it was like paper that was really thin and they're shining a light through it. I don't quite remember, but
Yeah. So kind of just did his own thing and had a bit of a decline in his career. This was kind of the peak of his career, along with the Wages of Fear, which
yeah. 2 years before this one.
yeah. And I think Le Corbeau was infamous actually, which I don't know if have you guys done that one yet, or is that even in the
Not yet.
criteria?
Uh,
I
It's
I think
later.
that might still be coming.
yeah.
Yeah.
So many
Okay.
movies.
So I'm gonna let you guys shit on the movie, and I'm gonna go.
All right. Nice
Um,
to
Thank
have you on.
God.
And let our true opinions come out. 1 out of 5.
1 out of 5. I appreciate you guys having me on, and
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it was great to have you.
thanks for the great
Um,
conversation from forcing
of
me to watch this movie
course.
because I
Of
fucking
course.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was great.
Okay,
All right.
see you guys. Look forward to listening to the rest. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, David. Love
bye.
you. Now it's
Fuck
just
that
the
movie.
original. Fucking.
Okay,
Ugh.
so I do have a question about
Ugh.
kind of towards the end. The, inspector guy, he comes to Christina and is like,
Hmm.
"Hey, I figured it out. Michelle's gonna be here in, half an hour." Did he actually know that, or was he, bullshitting? And if he actually knew that, why did he let her, go through this, torture?
I
You
think
know?
he was in on the plan with her.
He was all in on them.
But
Their
he
plans
then he,
within plans.
arrested them at the end. I don't know.
No, he was in
It's
on the
goofy.
plan to fake her death, arrest them.
I see. It's a
Yeah.
double twist. Yeah.
hmm hmm
It's goofy. I think this movie is definitely pretty goofy.
Yeah.
Um, throughout, like great twist, great structure, great suspense, but it goofy. I don't know if that's just a product of its time, so how old it is.
I think it's a
Kind
little
of
bit of
see,
a fun movie, though. It's a
Yeah.
lighthearted thriller.
It's definitely one
yeah.
that I would watch again, and I had a good time the whole time,
Oh
watching it.
yeah, I quite liked it,
I
but
don't think knowing the
without a
twist
doubt
really
goofy.
ruins it.
I think it takes away a little bit from it if you know the twist, just
That's
enjoyment.
true, especially the
Um,
beginning with the, pool and stuff.
I don't think it would be nearly as effective if I knew the twist going in, just like
Yeah, no,
how
that's
gripping the twists were. Um, it's goofy, but I quite like it. It's a very fun time, very silly.
I would
Wait,
certainly try this one. I love the cover.
I've come
Oh
up
yeah.
with a brilliant idea to cover our asses. Put at the end of the podcast a thing of text that says, "Don't repeat
That's
anything
really smart. Yeah.
from
Yeah,
Don't
we
this
repeat
should.
anything you heard on this podcast. That'd be good. I'll definitely do that.
That's a twist right there.
The first Critter Pit episode with a twist. Other than
Mhm.
Oliver Twist, of course.
Yeah. Graham wanted to do a sketch for this one. He thought you were still in Red Deer.
Yeah, I thought we were all going to your house.
No. Reading week.
I was so
Are you
confused
staying in
by
Red
that
Deer, Graham?
text, Graham.
Yeah, I'm staying in Red Deer. I mean, it's like a 6-hour drive to get back to my house.
Yeah.
I was like, why? Why would I?
Why is there puke on my leg?
Why is there
The
puke
fuck?
on your leg?
Ew.
I didn't puke last night. I
Gross.
know that for sure. So the mystery is, who puked last night?
It was Michelle.
It was Michelle.
Oh, he's right behind me.
He's taking his eyes out.
There was one part where his eyes were open under the water, and I couldn't tell. Like I thought his eyes were closed. I was like, his eyes look kind of weird under the water, but I just kind of came to the conclusion they were closed. And it was only at the end that I realized he had those crazy dead eyes.
Eyes.
If I was a smarter and deeper thinking person, I would have definitely realized the twist earlier on because, like, he drowns so quickly. So quickly.
Well,
Yeah.
and you can see he's alive afterwards. But I just thought that was like the actor couldn't hold his breath for that long. So
Yeah, you gave the movie the benefit of the doubt. You're like,
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But the movie's smarter than that.
But I forgot everything's intentional in movies. Everything.
Everything's intentional. There are
Yeah.
no
No
mistakes.
mistake.
Nothing's pretend.
Even
Nothing's
mistakes
pretend.
are intentional.
Exactly. Just look at all the films that we've made. There are no mistakes in those.
Yeah,
Every
exactly.
piece of it is intentionally there. Look
Every
at
bit of
Chess
mise
Game,
en
right?
scene.
You made
Every
sure to
bit of
keep that
mise en
continuity
scene.
perfect.
Yep. Because we're
That was
deep,
an
thoughtful
active choice.
thinkers.
Is the
Yep.
continuity perfect, or was it an active choice to make the continuity imperfect?
The continuity was perfect. in Chess Game,
Was
wasn't
it?
Yeah. Like that was
There-
that I heard that there was a lot of work that went into keeping it that
Mhm,
chessboard
mhm.
accurate.
I wouldn't say it was an active choice because an active
By the
choice
director, it
requires
wasn't an active choice. It was
consent.
an active
It
choice
requires
by
consent.
some grips.
Yeah, some grips and editors, but that's neither here nor there. If I die, no, I am not dead. I'm just faking my death.
Okay.
I'm
What
mentally
if it's been
pranking
more
someone
than
in my
6 days, though? What if it's been more than 6 days? Do we assume you're dead after that? You show up active on the Discord. That's how we'd figure it out.
I am a mental pranker.
I do
And I
have to
will go.
discuss something after we end the pod. I'll just let you guys know. Don't leave right away when we hang up.
Okay.
Okay. I don't. Do we have anything more to talk about for the movie? I think we shit on it a little bit more. Good.
It looks good. There's some cool
Yeah, it's
shots,
beautiful.
I thought. Some like cool symmetrical shots throughout this. I thought all
The
the
shots
kids were
weren't amazing in it, but it was solid.
thought it was good.
There was nothing
Very
that like
effective.
wowed me in it, but it was good.
Yeah.
I thought it was very effective for what it was going for.
Except the
agree.
twists. The twists did kind of wow me. So
I agree.
Thought the acting was quite good. I like the acting in this, especially from the kid actors.
Yep.
They felt very naturalistic.
yeah,
I liked the scene where the kids they're talking about how they would cheat on their wives too. They're like, just like Napoleon, just like the greats.
Yeah.
An interesting reflection on culture.
Yeah.
One thing we should do, we should go on
Conquering.
Wikipedia and delete the synopsis from
We
Wikipedia.
should. What the fuck
Yeah.
is that
It's
doing on
ridiculous
there?
that it would even be on there.
This is a call to you, Wikipedia, to
Get
fix your shit.
straight.
You have 6 days.
Let's see. No,
Yep.
not 96. I want the original one.
Is there a remake of this movie?
Yeah,
Yes, there is. Has Sharon
96.
Stone in it and Kathy Bates.
Okay,
Ah.
well, this film is originally called Les Diaboliques,
which I think is a better title. I
Yeah,
calling it the
the
devil.
Diabolicals.
Yeah,
But for some reason, I don't know why it got. Oh, in the United States, it was just released as Diabolique.
which is
Um,
interesting. Like it's still a French title. They didn't choose an English title, but it's different than the original
and
release.
variously translated as the Devils or the Fiends.
Yeah, in the movie or in the subtitles that I watched, it was the devils.
Huh.
Is that an accurate translation? Graham, born 5 minutes from Quebec.
Well, diabolical is an English word, so you could just say the Diabolicals
Okay.
or the Diabolical ones, or like
Yeah. That's not as cool as the devils, though.
or like the devilish, delightfully devilish Seymour. Yeah, the plot is on here.
What the fuck?
Ridiculous.
What the fuck are they
Wikipedia, what are
thinking?
you
Dude,
doing?
Come
I'm
Gonna get
on.
deleting it
cursed.
right now.
Gonna get cursed.
Fun fact about Clouseau is he was inspired by the films of F.W. Murnau and Fritz Lang. Very nice.
I was getting a little bit of M in this.
Expressionism.
Some good mystery and nice black and white photography.
He was working in Germany, and in 1934 was fired from UFA Studios for his friendship with Jewish film producers.
Oh
We'll
Wow.
dodge
wow,
a
hold
bullet
on.
there.
So people have said this movie is very similar to Hitchcock, and some
Yeah.
sources have said
Yeah.
that Hitchcock attempted to purchase the rights
Oh,
to the
yeah.
book, and he missed by a
Yeah.
couple
Got
of
here earlier,
hours.
Graham. We talked
Yeah.
about it.
We did.
Oh, you missed this. Okay,
We've been over
you
this.
guys are just on the Wikipedia.
No, we were
We
on the ball.
were.
Okay,
No, we did all our research beforehand. We had
Of
primary
course.
sources.
Yeah. Never Wikipedia.
Never,
you guys
never.
talked to Alfred Hitchcock.
In 1935, Clouseau was diagnosed with tuberculosis.
He
After
told you
leaving
that.
Germany.
He told you that.
Is Clouseau, is he the inspiration for Inspector Jacques Clouseau of the Pink Panther?
Yeah, that says it right here.
Yep.
That's very interesting. I wouldn't have thought that he was such a carefree man. Um,
Clouseau.
Clouseau.
I always love looking at directors who worked during like Nazi Germany era in Europe and seeing like if they collaborated at all with
How
Nazi
tight they were
Germany.
with Lenny.
Um, Clouseau, he wasn't, he did get fired from the Nazi studios, but he did work in Nazi occupied France for the film studios. So
Hmm.
something
Hmm.
interesting I found out. Paul Wegener, the guy who made the Golem, he was pretty tight with Nazi Germany. He was a big filmmaker during that time in
That's
Nazi Germany.
interesting. I guess
Yeah,
the golem is like a Jewish
right? I
creature,
should
right?
probably
So
fact check that real quick to see if I'm not
I'm surprised that he
confusing two
wouldn't be
people.
Jewish as well.
One sec. One sec. Um,
But maybe he was just, I don't know, infatuated or just,
mm,
I don't know, weirdly fetishizing because he's a weird Nazi dude. I don't know.
Too
I didn't do any
however,
research.
Wegener became an actor of the state and appeared in Nazi propaganda films such as Mein Leben für Irland in 1941 and Kohlberg in 1944 to 1945 propaganda film epic about the Napoleonic Wars.
I don't know, he was going all
Okay,
the way to 45. He was
so
deep.
he was pretty tight. He was pretty tight.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
Oof.
pretty tight.
Lars von Trier too. He was pretty tight back
No, he
then.
was.
He basically is a Nazi. Self-proclaimed.
He is a Nazi.
That's
If
not
you're
me saying
claiming
that.
you're a Nazi, you're a Nazi.
He thought he was a Jew.
To be fair, he did think he used to be a Jew,
Yeah.
like kind of a second-rate Jew, as he puts it.
Oh,
A
man.
self-hating
That's a
Jew,
crazy
as
put.
Mr. Lars von Trier says it. Yeah, none of this is our words. This is all
Yeah,
Lars
no, no,
von
no.
Trier,
No, no,
the
no, no.
Danish filmmaker.
The Critterpit would never say these kind of things. These are all
Like,
100%
like,
accurate
go
quotes.
into YouTube and search up Lars von Trier, Nazi cans,
Yeah.
and you'll hear it all from his mouth. Crazy clip. We
Crazy clip.
disavow, we
Everybody is staring at
disavow
him.
Lars von Trier. We disavow cans. We disavow all of it.
If Can wants to invite us to moderate a session, I'll
Then it'll
go.
be different. Then it'll be different.
Yeah.
Then it'll be different. Then we'll be the ones up there saying the same things as Lars.
I feel like
you get some drinks in me. There's an open bar. We'll see.
I think if you just get me in front of like a stage and just kind of let me ramble, you never know
Yeah,
what's going to
if I
happen. It
have
would
to
just
fill
be,
the air by saying something, who knows where
yeah,
my mind will go? Who
who
knows what I'll
knows?
think funny in that moment? You know, we'll see.
Deep down, there's a Lars in all of us.
Yeah, deep down, when the times get anxious enough and the pressure's high enough,
Yeah,
there's a Lars in all of us.
I'd like to think I'd be better than that, though. There's
You'd
no
like
way
to
I
think.
go that far.
This is a horror
No way.
film. The Guardian listed this
Yeah, I'd say so.
as number
Some really
19
freaky bits.
among the best 25 best horror films of all time. I don't know.
I wouldn't throw it on that list, but
Suspenseful.
it's definitely a horror thriller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any recommendations, Graham? Any movie recs?
Well, there is this little known movie that I've watched a few times that I really like called Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I haven't
No,
heard
don't
you
of
know.
that.
can't do that
When did
one.
that
You
come out?
can't do that one.
Can't do that one.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, then I would say I think I've probably said it before, but Little Shop of Horrors. Great movie.
That's a great one. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The
I've
original
never
Corman
seen
one
it.
or the one with Rick Moranis?
The one with Rick Moranis.
Yeah, directed by Frank Oz.
I watched like 2 minutes of the original one and was like, I don't like this. So.
Yeah, the remake is way more fun.
Because isn't it? It's a movie that got turned into a Broadway production that got turned into a movie.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, directed by Frank Oz. I wasn't sure if it was him or Jim Henson.
Shop.
We love it though. We love it though. I thought it was Jim Henson. Did Jim Henson at least work on it?
I think it's the Jim Henson, like the puppet company.
Yeah.
That does look pretty epic from the screenshots I'm looking at.
Have you
That
not
puppet
seen Little
is, like,
Shop of Horrors?
incredible.
I have not.
It's literally like 20 feet tall or something. Like it's
Yeah,
That's
it's
massive.
crazy. And the way
Controlled.
that it articulates too is like unbelievable.
Yeah, it was controlled by like I think like over a dozen people were controlling this one thing. Yeah.
Well, and I read too that they had to do it like they would speed up the footage to match with the song.
Oh
'Cause
yeah,
they
for
couldn't
sure. For
puppeteer it
sure.
fast enough for that. So there are scenes when like Rick Moranis would be like acting in slow mo against this thing so that it would adjust to
Oh
speed
God.
right up. Could you imagine having to do that? Like
I just found the
that's
worst
crazy.
image. I just found the worst image. I hate this. I'm sending this on the Discord.
Perfect.
That's pretty cute.
It's got some crazy lips that what's his name? Seymour?
No, Audrey too.
Oh, Audrey 2, yeah, right. Audrey 2.
Yeah,
After
because
Audrey
he
1.
names it after the girl he has a crush on.
Yeah.
Who's dating a dentist who's addicted to nitrous oxide and is
Yeah,
a
played by Steve
sadist.
Martin. A crazy sadist. And Bill Murray shows up as
Well,
an atheist.
he's only a semi-sadist according to Audrey, so.
Yeah, but I mean, you see his scene.
Yeah. He's a full sadist.
Yeah. That's a great movie, yeah.
I've switched up the Critter
recommendation.
Pit ranked a little bit. I now have Blood for Dracula as my worst movie of the Critter Pit movies. Because
Oh.
worse than
Plus,
Solo, just
Frankenstein is
because
worse than Blood for Dracula.
I'd have to rewatch it, and I'm not gonna. But
Blood for Dracula, I think, is fun. I enjoyed Blood
So-
for Dracula.
Sam,
my point is that Solo isn't the worst anymore. Because I think
Okay, that's big news.
that is big news. Because even though I still do not like that movie, I still think it has some merit.
Sam, have you seen both versions of Little Shop of Horrors, like the
I've only
theatrical
seen the new
and?
one. I mean, the new one, the 80s one.
No, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But have you seen both the theatrical and director's cut endings, or just
Yes,
one?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I got to see the the director's cut ending in theaters. It was really cool.
Yeah,
Metro was playing it earlier.
I'd love to see the director's cut in theaters, but
Yeah, it was awesome.
I don't think I've ever watched the theatrical cut like on the DVD, but I saw the ending online.
Yeah, I've only seen the theatrical cut like online as well.
I think that's like a perfect example of why we need to abolish test audiences, because that like the director's cut ending has always been the actual ending of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah. You should watch it, Ethan. It's a crazy ending.
I might have to.
I mean, minus the like kaiju scene, but like I think that's just fun.
I think it's fun too, and I think that the movie earns it by that point. Like there's just so much has happened. It's great. I can't wait for the Godzilla X Kong movie where they fight Seymour too.
I was on a quest for a long time to find an original Little Shop of Horrors prop, because there's one shot in the movie where like 50 hands come in, or like a bunch of people run in, they grab all these little versions of the plant on a store shelf, and I was like, they definitely sold those off to the like crew.
Yeah,
because after a movie's done, they usually sell off the props. I was like, they definitely sold these off. There's got to be what, like 30 of these out there, and I cannot find a single one. I could find the original like Folgers coffee can prop, but that one's going for like over 10 grand type thing. So,
but you couldn't find any.
I couldn't find any of those Audrey 2s. Like, it's possible they were made out of like cheap materials and they're just all destroyed or something by this point. But
yeah,
I if anyone ever finds one of those, hit me up. Hit up the Critter Pit.
Email
us. Find one of those, yeah. I will buy it
for any price.
Not any price, but I'll go $5 grand max. No, that's way too high.
Another podcast budget. Well, once we give you your cut of the podcast revenue, it should be good.
And you guys are like millionaires by now, so once
about.
Don't tell anybody, but don't tell David, because we don't want to
keep
pay
that.
Keep that
heavily under wraps, please. But we're just a couple $100K more, and we're there. That's all I'll say.
It shouldn't take too long at this point. I think probably by Armageddon for sure we'll have it.
It's a passive income kind of situation.
Yeah,
it's nice fallback just in case film doesn't.
It's a nice little something.
A little nest egg, if you will.
Let me know right before you end the podcast, because I do want to propose something, but
okay.
Okay.
Any final words? I might end it. Yeah, unless we got something.
Well,
Ethan, I think we should go grab a bite after this. I got something in mind.
Okay. Are we doing the Batty road trip?
No. Just going for a quick
recording yet. I don't know if
Keep it in.
Keep it in.
Just going for a quick bite to eat.